They told you to be kind, to be soft, to forgive no matter the offense. That was your first conditioning, subtle, sweet, and fatal. Understand this. The world does not reward virtue, it rewards leverage. Your empathy has been weaponized against you. Your predictability used as a leash. Your goodness interpreted as weakness. The lie of softness is the first chain. While you were learning to be liked, others were learning to dominate. While you were learning to turn the other cheek, others were learning to strike the artery. You've been trained to react emotionally, to flinch, to need validation, but not anymore. That version of you dies here. Machiavelli didn't write for the naive. He wrote for those willing to face the truth, the cold, violent, and merciless truth. Power is not earned by virtue. It's seized by force, respected through fear, maintained through calculated detachment. You don't need to be liked. You need to be untouchable. This is your first lesson. To rebuild yourself, you must destroy who you were trained to be. This world isn't for the gentle, it's for the sharp. And you will become a blade. Comment this below if you're ready to begin. I don't seek peace. I seek clarity and power. Part 2. The principle of ruthless self-interest. Let me make something brutally clear. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not your God. The only thing that will ever save you is a mind honed by ruthless self-interest. You were raised to think selfishness is evil, that wanting more, needing power, desiring control makes you a villain. But let me ask you, where has selflessness gotten you? Has sacrifice earned you loyalty? Has patience bought you respect? Number. You were taught to burn yourself for others while they never struck a match for you. Machiavelli knew better. He didn't worship morality. He dissected it, stripped it for parts, and used it as a tool. He knew men are fickle, loyalty is conditional, and power belongs to those who move first and ask nothing. You are not here to be fair. You are here to be formidable. Ruthless self-interest is not cruelty, it's clarity. It's cutting through the noise of obligation and guilt and asking, what serves me? What strengthens my position, my leverage, my legacy? Weak men think that being liked is safety. But the respected man, the feared man, he doesn't need anyone to like him. Because when you operate in self-interest, you stop waiting, you start building, calculating, moving in silence. No more leaking energy to people who drain you. No more defending your ambition. You owe this world nothing but your ascension. And those who can't handle it, let them choke on their mediocrity. You were not made for comfort. You were made for conquest. Rewire your mind. No more guilt for prioritizing yourself. That guilt is a weapon, and from this point forward, you are unarmed no longer. Comment this below if you feel it hit deep. My loyalty ends where my growth is threatened. Part 3. The weaponization of emotion. You've been lied to about emotion, told to express yourself, open up, be vulnerable. That advice wasn't given to empower you, it was given to expose you, to make you easier to predict, manipulate, control. Every time you react emotionally, you hand someone the blueprint to your mind. Your triggers become levers, your weaknesses become buttons. In the hands of a skilled manipulator, your emotions are chains. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Men are governed by passion, and those who master it control the herd. But you are not here to be herded, you are here to become the shepherd. And that begins with emotional discipline. Control your anger, and you control your retaliation. Control your joy, and you control how your victories are perceived. Control your fear, and you become untouchable. Emotion, when mastered, becomes a weapon, cold, precise, and deadly. But left unchecked, it's a loaded gun pointed at your own head. Think about how many men have destroyed their lives over a moment of weakness. A breakup, an insult, a betrayal. That's not masculinity, that's emotional slavery. The world respects the man who can feel everything, but show nothing. The man who bleeds in silence, who plans in silence, who moves in silence. Because when you conceal your emotions, you create unpredictability. And in a world driven by manipulation, unpredictability is power. You must learn to pause before you react, breathe before you speak, Observe before you engage. The more silent you become, the more dangerous you are. You are not a slave to your feelings. You are the architect of your reality. Now act like it. Comment this below if you resonate with this level of power. I feel everything, but I owe no one a reaction. Part 4. The art of controlled detachment. Attachment is the hidden poison. It feels warm, safe, comforting, but it's the rope they use to hang you the moment you stop serving their interests. The more attached you are to people, to outcomes, to opinions, the more predictable you become. And predictability is death in the game of power. Machiavelli understood that to rule, you must be willing to sever, to cut ties clean, to detach before the emotions sink their claws in. Because the one who needs nothing controls everything. Controlled detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's the power to walk away without flinching, to smile while others panic, to hold your line when the world pulls at your heart. Weak men cling, powerful men release. Attachment is where your enemies will find you, clinging to people who don't respect you, jobs that don't serve you, habits that dull you. Detachment, however, is your shield. When you detach, you gain vision. You see what others can't. The fake smiles, the hidden motives, the manipulation dressed as love. And most importantly, you stay in control. Never let your loyalty to others outweigh your loyalty to yourself. Be kind when it serves you. Be generous when it's strategic. But never be so attached that you can't pivot, cut, or vanish. Your presence is a privilege, not a promise. Let them wonder where your heart is. Let them chase what they'll never understand. True strength is when your mind stays cool while the world burns around you. That's not numbness, that's sovereignty. Comment this below if you're choosing power over attachment. I move with purpose, not attachment. My loyalty is earned, not owed. Part 5. Mastering the power of perception. Perception is the currency of power. Reality, that's negotiable. But how you are perceived, that's where true control lives. Machiavelli didn't just teach rulers how to act, he taught them how to appear. Because in a world driven by surface impressions, the man who controls his image controls the room. Your reputation walks into every conversation before your mouth opens. Your posture, your silence, your gaze. These are weapons sharper than steel. The weak seek to be understood. The powerful shape how they are interpreted. Never show all of you. That's strategic suicide. Let them see what serves you, nothing more. Mystery breeds influence. Familiarity breeds contempt. You want to be respected? Stop over-explaining. You want to be feared? Stop broadcasting your emotions. Let people wonder what you think. Let them doubt where they stand. Let them fill in the blanks with their own anxiety. That's power. You don't need to be loud to be dominant. You need to be deliberate. Speak less, but when you speak, cut clean. Every word, every pause, every silence must serve your image. You don't reveal your intentions. You orchestrate assumptions. That's what Machiavelli understood better than anyone. People don't care about the truth. They care about the story. So give them the story that elevates your position. Never let your enemies see your strategy. Let them drown in speculation while you move with precision. In the game of perception, even kindness can be a weapon. Generosity becomes intimidation when it's unexpected. Silence becomes unsettling when it's calm. Confidence becomes absolute when it's unspoken. And once you master how others see you, you start to bend reality to your will. You're no longer reacting to the world, you're architecting it. And when they finally realize they can't figure you out, that's when they fear you. Not because you've shown force, but because you've made them feel powerless without ever lifting a finger. That's Machiavellian power. Cold, elegant, effective. Comment this if you're done being seen as average. I don't explain myself. I design how I'm perceived. Part 6. The calculated use of fear. Let's end the delusion. You don't rise by being loved. You rise by being respected. And respect, when truly tested, is always laced with fear. Machiavelli understood that a ruler who is feared can survive anything, but a ruler who is only loved, he's disposable the moment he stops giving. In the world of power, Love is fragile. Fear is reliable. And before you flinch at the word fear, understand this. It doesn't mean cruelty. It means consequence. It means building a presence so stable, so controlled, so unpredictable that others think twice before crossing you. That's not being toxic. That's being untouchable. The man who evokes no fear is a man others believe they can manipulate, use, guilt, and discard. But when your energy says, "You will regret disrespecting me," people adjust. They watch their tone. They reconsider their games. You don't need to bark. You don't need to fight. You need to cultivate that still poised tension that says, "I am not the one." Most men try to be feared by flexing aggression. That's amateur. That's noise. True power is cold, silent, calculated. It doesn't yell. It waits. It studies. It responds with precision. It punishes not emotionally, but strategically. And when you do act, you make it count. One move, undeniable. You don't need to be feared by everyone, but you need to be feared by the right people, the manipulators, the betrayers, the opportunists. You create boundaries made not of words, but of energy, of demeanor, of ruthlessly consistent consequences. And yes, that means you'll be misunderstood. Some will call you cold. Others will call you heartless. Let them, because while they gossip, you remain unbothered, uninterrupted, in control. Remember this, your softness will never protect you from the fangs of the world, but your shadow might. Fear, when used with wisdom, is not a weakness. It is a weapon, not to harm, but to enforce order, to establish your perimeter, to carve space around your being that demands respect without request. People should know, with you, there is no second warning, no endless tolerance, no performance of politeness when lines are crossed. That's what makes you unshakable. You don't beg for peace. You impose it. The world submits to force, not moral pleading. And the one who understands this walks differently. He carries an aura of finality, a posture of consequence, a silence that unnerves. That's what you must build, not with theatrics, but with discipline. Do not overreact. Do not explode. Learn to burn cold. Learn to deliver your wrath in silence, in outcomes, in the removal of access. That's real fear. That's power. And once people learn your boundaries are made of steel, they will stop testing them. You will no longer attract chaos. You will command structure. Let others spend their lives trying to be liked. You become feared with elegance, respected with silence, obeyed without force. That's not cruelty, that's sovereignty. Comment this if you're done being soft-spoken in a loud world. They don't fear my anger, they fear my silence. Part 7. Silence, strategy, and the long game. The loudest man in the room is always the weakest. He wants attention, validation, reaction. But the man who plays the long game, he doesn't speak unless it moves the needle. He doesn't react unless there's something to gain. And he doesn't play for applause. He plays for power. Machiavelli understood the rarest trait among men: patience with purpose. In a world addicted to dopamine, to instant gratification, to emotional outbursts and desperate displays of relevance, the man who stays silent, observant, and strategic becomes dangerous beyond comprehension. Because silence is not absence, it's calculation. It's the weapon of the man who's already thinking 10 moves ahead while everyone else is drunk off impulse. You want real influence? Learn to shut your mouth, not out of fear, out of discipline. Every time you speak, you're revealing the contents of your mind. You're giving away positioning. You're giving enemies a roadmap to your instincts. And every time you react emotionally, you're showing the world exactly how to control you. But when you adopt the art of silence, you become unreadable. And in the psychological jungle we live in, unreadable means uncontrollable. Let them talk. Let them vent. Let them post their feelings, their secrets, their strategies. You move like a ghost with a loaded playbook. Because true power isn't in constant motion. It's in controlled, intentional moves that create shockwaves. You're not here to win arguments. You're here to win the war that spans years, decades, lifetimes. And to win that war, you must operate in shadows. Plan when others party. Build when others brag. Endure when others quit. Your silence will be mocked. Your distance misunderstood. Let it. Every king was once doubted by men who couldn't see beyond today. But the long game is brutal, lonely, and that's what makes it elite. You sacrifice short-term applause for long-term dominance. You stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your mission to small minds. You stop reacting to distractions and start bending reality with time, precision, and patience. You become the architect of outcomes. People won't see you coming because you said nothing, but when you act, you'll leave no room for doubt. They'll call it luck. They'll call it ego. But deep down, they'll know. You didn't play harder. You played smarter. You waited. You adapted. You struck when it mattered. That's the long game. It's not about being seen. It's about being inevitable. And silence is your camouflage. Silence is your armor. Silence is the signal to the world that you are not desperate for attention. You are busy constructing something they don't have the capacity to understand. You use their noise as cover. You let their drama distract them. While they're chasing relevance, you're engineering dominance. And when the timing is right, you don't speak. You arrive. You don't announce. You overwhelm. That's how empires are built, not by noise, but by patience and relentless execution. The long game isn't for the impulsive. It's for the disciplined, the mentally armored. The man who can wait in silence while the world burns, only to emerge stronger, colder, and more precise. This is how kings are made, not with words, but with moves. Silent, surgical, and undeniable. Comment this if you're done wasting energy on things that don't matter. I play the long game. I move in silence. I dominate with time. Part 8. Information control and psychological warfare. Control information and you control perception. Control perception and you control behavior. Control behavior and you own outcomes. This is psychological warfare, and Machiavelli whispered it centuries ago. Never reveal more than what is useful to your position. Every word you speak, every detail you give, every truth you offer is potential ammunition in someone else's hands. Loose men leak power. Strategic men ration truth. In war, information is the battlefield. And if you're careless, you're feeding your enemies. Understand this. Every person around you, yes, even your closest ones, is collecting data. They watch how you react. They study your habits. They absorb your language, your tone, your tells. They're looking for leverage, whether consciously or unconsciously. That's why the strongest men are unreadable, not because they're emotionless, but because they understand the currency of secrecy. The less they know about you, the less they can control you. The moment you make your mind and motives transparent, you become a pawn. Predictable, defeatable. But when you operate behind a veil, they can't map your moves. They can't counter what they can't see. The most dangerous man is the one whose next step is a mystery, who keeps his desires hidden, his strategies quiet, and his fears buried beneath stone. That man, he becomes a myth in the minds of others. They wonder what he's thinking. They obsess over what he might do next. They doubt their every step in his presence. That is psychological dominance. You don't need to overpower people physically. You need to exhaust their mind. You don't argue. You confuse. You don't resist. You redirect. You don't defend. You disappear. Your silence becomes suspicion. Your half smile becomes a question mark they can't decode. Your unpredictability becomes your shield. This is the essence of modern warfare. It's mental, it's strategic, and most people are so desperate to be seen, liked, or understood that they expose their entire playbook by day one. Don't be that man. Be the one who listens twice as much as he speaks, the one who answers without answering, the one who reveals a version of himself that's just enough to distract from the real game. Let them see what you want them to see, and nothing more. Keep your core behind locked doors. Even when they think they've figured you out, make sure they're chasing a shadow. Control how they feel when they leave your presence. Never let them walk away with certainty. Certainty breeds confidence. But uncertainty breeds submission. It makes them cautious, hesitant, respectful. They'll tread lightly around you. afraid to misstep. That's when you own them, not with force, but with ambiguity. You'll hear them say, "I just can't read him." And when you do, know you've already won. Information control isn't just about what you hide. It's also about what you leak intentionally. A rumor here, a false weakness there, a planted story, a staged slip-up. You feed them what leads them down the wrong path, while you take the real one in silence. This is chess, not checkers. Psychological warfare isn't about being emotional. It's about being methodical, calm, surgical. You don't react. You orchestrate reactions in others. You become the mirror they see themselves in, and then you shatter it when it serves you. Cold? Yes, but this is not a world for the warm-hearted. This is a world for the man who can keep his soul hidden behind strategy. So from now on, stop giving away pieces of yourself for free. Stop explaining yourself. Stop handing over your map to people who don't deserve to walk your path. You are the enigma now, the strategist, the ghost. No one should know what you truly want. Not until it's already yours. Comment this if you're done being readable. Let them guess. Let them chase. I reveal nothing. I control everything. Part 9. The elimination of weak ties. You will never rise surrounded by softness. You will never conquer while dragging dead weight. And you will never become powerful by staying loyal to weakness. Let's stop romanticizing loyalty. Blind loyalty is suicide. Loyalty without standards is manipulation. You were not born to carry people who don't carry themselves. This is your next step into power, the elimination of weak ties, not in hatred, not in drama, in silence, in calm detachment. Because the truth is, many of the people around you are liabilities wearing the mask of loyalty. They drain your energy, they stunt your momentum, they dilute your standards with their mediocrity and call it friendship. You see it every day, men with vision, drive, focus, dragged into the mud by people who fear their evolution. Every weak tie in your life is an anchor pretending to be a lifeboat. And the longer you hold on, the further you drift from the empire you're trying to build. Weak ties whisper doubt when you move. They subtly mock your ambition. They fear your solitude. Why? Because your strength exposes their lack of it. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your silence makes them feel small, so they project, they distract, they gossip, they invite you back into their comfort zone. Because if you grow beyond them, it confirms what they already suspect. They were never built for more. Machiavelli wrote that a wise prince must surround himself with capable men and eliminate flatterers. The same applies to you. Audit your circle with precision. Ask yourself, does this person challenge me, push me, inspire a higher level of execution, or do they distract, consume, and pacify? If they're not building, they're breaking. Maybe not obviously, but slowly, invisibly, and that's more dangerous, because while you think you're maintaining peace, you're feeding decay. The soft friend who always says, "Take it easy," when you're chasing something elite. Weak tie. The one who needs constant validation but offers none in return. Weak tie. The one who clings to you when things are bad but vanishes when you're focused. Weak tie. And the most dangerous of them all, the passive manipulator. The one who smiles in your face but plants doubt in your mind with every word. Cut them, quietly, permanently. No explanations, no goodbyes, just distance, just space, just silence. You do not need to justify your ascension, you need to protect it. Every connection is either sharpening your edge or dulling your blade. The harsh truth is, most people are not evil, they're just weak. But weak people cause more damage than evil ones because they do it under the illusion of care. Weak men won't sabotage you directly. They'll distract you slowly, pull you into their drama, entangle you in their fear, waste your time, cloud your mind, and smile while doing it. That's why emotional detachment is essential. If someone adds chaos without contribution, they are dead weight. And if you lack the will to remove them, you don't have what it takes to lead yourself, let alone anyone else. A kingdom is not built on compassion. It's built on order, on selectivity, on high standards ruthlessly enforced. The tighter your circle, the cleaner your focus. Power doesn't come from having many allies. It comes from having the right ones. Men of discipline, women of loyalty, people who sharpen you with their presence, who hold the line beside you, not behind you. These are rare. That's why most must go. Solitude is the test. Can you walk alone for a season to build strength for a lifetime? Can you be the wolf without a pack until you find warriors, not sheep? This is the crucible. Because when you eliminate weak ties, you'll feel it. The silence, the absence, the space. But that space is not emptiness. It's room for evolution, for strategy, for greatness. That's where clarity lives. That's where your mind levels up. When your environment stops pulling you down, your instincts sharpen, your judgment clears, your time stretches, and your execution becomes lethal. The wrong people cloud your vision. The right ones amplify it. So remove accordingly and do it with no guilt. Guilt is the leash the weak use to stay attached. Cut it. Power respects those who enforce standards, not those who keep peace through self-betrayal. From this point forward, your inner circle becomes sacred ground. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Your potential dies the moment your standards do. Don't just protect your peace, protect your edge. The people who can't handle that were never meant to stand beside you. Let them fall off. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand your silence. While they spiral in circles, you build in straight lines. You are not here to carry everyone. You are here to become unshakable. Comment this below if you're cutting all dead weight from your life. If you weaken my focus, you lose access to my presence. Part 10. Becoming untouchable. Untouchable is not a title. It's not an aesthetic. It's not a performance. It's a state of internal war that you win every single day. It means no matter what they say, you don't flinch. No matter who leaves, you don't break. No matter what collapses around you, your posture stays upright, your eyes cold, your strategy intact. Untouchable isn't about being emotionless, it's about being unshakable. And if you've made it this far, you're already walking the edge of something they can't comprehend. Because this world doesn't fear strength, it fears control. Control of self, control of time, control of emotion, control of image. When a man moves without panic, without doubt, without the need for external noise, you've found a man who's finished bleeding for the approval of others. And that is terrifying to people who live in dependence. Becoming untouchable means you've killed the boy within, the one who begged for acceptance, who waited for permission, who chased love like a dog hungry for scraps. That version of you had to die so the strategist could rise, the one who plays the long game, the one who operates in silence, the one who doesn't fold when things go dark. He builds in the dark, he sharpens, he evolves, he watches, he prepares. Because being untouchable isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming so internally fortified that you're no longer affected by anything external. Betrayal doesn't rattle you. It confirms what you already suspected. Loss doesn't destroy you. It removes the irrelevant. Criticism doesn't offend you. It reveals who's watching from below. You no longer chase comfort. You build systems. You no longer chase love. You command respect. You no longer seek peace. You enforce silence. Every piece of weakness was burned out of you through pain, isolation, betrayal, and the thousands of days you sat alone with your own demons and refused to run. And that's the part they'll never understand. They'll see the results, the calmness, the command, the presence, but they'll never see the blood, the cost, the brutal cuts that shaped your armor. You're untouchable not because nothing has touched you, but because you turned every wound into another layer of steel. That's why their opinions mean nothing now. That's why their noise doesn't echo anymore. That's why you're immune to the emotional games they used to use to control you. You've evolved past needing to win arguments. You've transcended the playground of ego. You don't need to be right. You don't need to be liked. You only need to move, to build, to execute. Every breath you take is strategic. Every move you make is measured. Your time is sacred. Your presence is earned. Your mission is clear. You've become the man who can walk through chaos with stillness. The man who looks at betrayal and says, expected. The man who gets hated and says, that's part of the cost. The man who knows this game rewards those who refuse to fold, no matter what is on the table. And when you become this, you no longer fear loss because you've already faced it. You no longer fear solitude because you've built your mind to be a fortress. You no longer seek recognition because you are your own witness. That's power. That's real, untouchable power. And if there's one thing I'll leave you with, it's this. They cannot destroy a man who has already buried who he used to be. So become that man, the ghost in the room, the weapon behind the calm voice, the strategist who doesn't blink. Not everyone will understand you. Most will resent you. Let them. Your path isn't designed to be popular. It's designed to be unstoppable. From this point on, you answer to one standard, yours. That is how you remain unbothered in the face of betrayal, calm in the face of disrespect, ruthless in the face of obstacles. Because you are no longer playing the game to survive. You are here to dominate. You are not the product of your past. You are the architect of your future. No one has access to your buttons anymore. No one can derail you. No one can shake your frame. Because you are no longer built from emotion. You are forged from intention, from discipline, from strategy, from silence. That's what untouchable looks like. Not the loudest in the room. Not the one with the flash. It's the one who doesn't blink when the room turns against him. The one who just keeps moving forward while others fall apart. Comment this below if you've made the decision to become untouchable. I buried the old me. The new me is untouchable. If this entire series shifted something in you, like it was written for your shadow, your future, your fire, then do this right now. Like this video. Subscribe to Dark Power. Turn on notifications. Because this isn't motivation, this is reprogramming, and you're only just getting started.